I graduated with a computer science degree and spent 3 months applying to every junior developer role I could find. Hundreds of applications, and you know how many responses I got? I could count them on one hand, really. Not offers, just responses. Most companies didn't even have the decency to send a rejection letter. Just silence, like I'd thrown my CV into a black hole. And the internet kept telling me I wasn't good enough. Learn more frameworks, get AWS certified, build 10 projects, master system design, do LeetCode for 6 hours a day, and I believed it for a while, until I stopped and did something totally different, and that's what actually got me somewhere. Let me paint the picture for anyone who isn't in tech. The job market for junior developers right now is generally broken. Companies want 3 years of experience for an entry-level role. They want you to know React, Node, Python, AWS, Docker, Kubernetes, and CI/CD pipelines. It's nuts. System design and 12 other things that, no human being learns in a 3-year degree. The job listing says junior, but the requirements say someone who's been doing this for almost half a decade already. And the competition is quite insane. Every role gets hundreds of applications. You're not competing with 10-hour graduates, you're competing with 300. Some of them even have bootcamp projects. Some of them have internship experience. Some of them even have been coding since they were 12, even 4, who knows. And you're sitting there with your degree and university projects thinking, how am I supposed to stand out in this? And then there's the AI conversation. Every other week, there's a new headline saying AI is going to replace developers, which, by the way, it's not. Quick pointer, it's not. Which is great for morale when you're already struggling to get hired. Nothing says keep going like being told the career you're fighting to, get into is not going to exist in 5 years' time. I mean, when I was doing my job search, like the lowest I got was brutal. I was at a point where I was thinking I'd potentially try and go on workers' benefits. It was that bad. I applied to almost 500 jobs when I was in my search. 500, that's nuts. That's a stupid amount of cover letters, CVs being adjusted and tweaked. Maybe this is the hope you get every time you send one off. What if I worked at this company? What would that be like? Oh, what am I doing in this day by looking at the job description? And it's absolutely heartbreaking. Here's where I went wrong in the first month. I went on Twitter, I went on Reddit, I went on LinkedIn, which is and everyone was saying the same thing. You need to grind LeetCode. Your portfolio isn't strong enough. You need to know full stack development, DevOps, and machine learning if you even want a chance. And I listened. I tried to learn everything at once, and within weeks I was pretty damn burned out. Because here's what the internet doesn't tell you. People giving that advice are already either employed, looking back with hindsight, or they're content creators whose actual job is making you, yourself, the viewer, feel like you need to learn more so you can buy their course. The bar they're setting really isn't realist. A lot of it's manufactured. No junior developer knows everything. Nobody does. The senior devs at big companies Google basic stuff, maybe not every day. Sometimes they'll Google things. But online, the standard is perfection, and perfection is paralyzing. I was so busy trying to be cracked at everything that I wasn't actually building anything. I was just consuming tutorials, docs, courses, YouTube videos on how to get hired. I was learning about building instead of actually applying those skills. And there's a massive difference between knowing how something works and proving you can make something work. That difference is what changed everything for me. Month 2 of being jobless, I was burnt out on applications, I burnt out on LeetCode, I burnt out on the whole process. And I just thought, forget it. I'm going to stop applying for a little while and build something real. Not to do a to-do list app, not a calculator, not a tutorial project that every other graduate has on their GitHub. Something that actually solves a problem and something I would actually use. And I decided the best app to go and make would be Spotify, as every single person has had the same idea in doing so. I sat down, I made it in Python, I used Fast API, and I just went ahead and built it. Yes, I had AI with me along the way to help speed up the process and make sure I was actually building those skills and applying those skills in terms of coding, understanding concepts, and just having fun when I'm doing it. And kind of forgetting the fact that I had to apply for a job. Now, I'm not going to say the Spotify app is perfect. It somewhat works locally on my thing. I didn't publish it. I didn't push it up to using Docker and Kubernetes and making a live process or a live application that people can actually use. I didn't do that. I just made it. I just wanted to learn something, have it on my portfolio, my CV, saying, look, I did this, I tried it, it's a bit of fun. And 9 times out of 10, Recruiters are not going to look at your actual application unless they really have a lot of time on their hands and they really are tedious and want to know every little detail about what you've did. Then fair enough, okay, maybe that's the way they're going for. But you're a junior, you're not meant to know everything. And the thing is, I wasn't cracked while building it, like I said already. I googled constantly. Stack Overflow was like my co-founder. It was brilliant. There were days where I spent 4 hours on a bug that turned out to be a missing semicolon. It was messy, it was frustrating, and was the most valuable thing that I'd done since graduating. Because for the first time, I wasn't following someone else's tutorial. I was making my own decisions, my own architecture, my own design choices, my own mistakes, and that process taught me more about being a developer than 3 years of university will ever did. The app wasn't perfect, and to be honest, I haven't even touched it since I've started working. But it was mine, and it was real, and it turned out to matter way more than I actually expected it to. When I started the app on my CV and linking it into applications, something shifted. Not overnight, not dramatically, like oh my god, I got 6 different job offers and the next day, like no, that didn't happen. But the response rate changed a little bit, because here's what a hiring manager actually sees when they look at a junior's application. They see the same degree from a different university, they see the same list of technologies, they see the same GitHub full of tutorial projects that prove you can follow instructions but don't prove you can think. Then they see someone who built a real thing, not a perfect thing, a real thing. Something that exists, something with users, or at least something could have users, you never know. Something that shows you can take an idea, figure out how to make it work, hit problems, solve them, and ship it. That's what companies actually want from juniors, not perfection, not 10 frameworks, proof that you can build. Nobody told me that. The internet told me I needed to know everything. The reality is I needed to show I could do something. One real project with a story behind it is worth more than 50 tutorial clones on your GitHub, because anyone can follow a tutorial. It's not difficult, it really is easy. Not everyone can ship something from scratch. That's the edge. And it's available to anyone willing to be bad at something for a few weeks, maybe a month, maybe 2 months, who knows. And I'm not going to lie, when I first did the app, after maybe 3 weeks, I applied for a job, I got an interview for it. I went in for the interview, sat down, and they had my portfolio right in front of me. Like, they had my CV and everything, and I spoke to them. Everything went really well. And I need to just say this as well to juniors. You need to make sure that your personal skills and how you come across with other people is really important, that you come across as just someone who wants to work. And someone who doesn't know everything. It's okay to not know something. I, in my interview, got asked if I knew a certain thing about the company. I did my research on the company, apparently not enough. I did my research and then I got asked a question I actually never really heard before, and I just admitted, sorry, I actually don't really know that, I've never heard it before. And they just told me on the spot, like, this is what it means, and that was it. I moved on with the conversation, then asked me a couple coding questions, not even coding, just if you had a for loop, for example, when you're making a database call, would you do that within the for loop? And I was like, well, you would want to avoid that, because if you have a data entry of 1,000 entries in that database, it's going to hammer the database with calls. So you would just want to maybe add a limit to it. Maybe if you want to get the first 10 options, 10 entries in that database to check. You can do numerous things. Maybe use batch calling, for example, is one thing I used. So again, you don't need to know everything. You really don't. My Spotify app, and I'm not saying it was bad, but at least know if they ask you questions on that, then at least know a few things about it, or even at least what you've built. Just know it. Knowing's enough. You don't have to sit there and prove and build, like, show them this perfect application working. I have this many users, I'm doing everything else. Just build something, get it somewhat working, learn the concepts, actually learn them. Don't just do it for the sake of doing it. Actually learn them. If you're a CS graduate right now and you're about to graduate, or you're in a bootcamp, or you're self-taught and wondering if any of this is going to work, here's what I'd say. It's not what the internet is telling you. Please stop trying to learn everything. Pick one stack, get comfortable with it. Not an expert, just comfortable. Then build something with it. Not a project from a tutorial, something you came up with. Something that solves a problem you've actually had. Even use AI to your advantage if you really are unsure what to build. Use it. It doesn't have to be the next big startup either. It can be small, scrappy, and even just held together with some duct tape. but it has to be yours. Then put it out there, deploy it, link it on your CV, talk about it in interviews, talk about the bugs you hit and how you fix them if they ask you questions on it. Talk about the decisions you made and why. Companies don't want a human encyclopedia of frameworks. They want someone who can problem solve, and nothing proves that faster than a project you built from zero with no one telling you what to do. And again, let me repeat this. You do not need to be cracked. You need to be building things. The bar is lower than the internet wants you to believe. It's just that the internet profits from making you feel like it's unreachable. It's not. I'm proof. I wasn't the best developer in my class. I wasn't the smartest. I was just the one who stopped consuming and just started creating, and that was enough. 3 months jobless, hundreds of rejections. I had 4 interviews. That was the most I've ever had. 4 interviews. That was it, out of 500 applications, or almost 500 applications. I had 1 app. That's the story. It's not glamorous. It's not how I got hired at Google Video. It's just honest. And I think honest is what actually people need right now. Not another LeetCode grind set video, not another day in the life of a software engineer that makes it look easy, even though half of them all get sacked in the next couple of years because they don't actually do anything in those videos. Just someone saying, yeah, it's hard, and here's actually what happened. That's the video. If you're on the job hunt right now, please drop a comment, tell me how many applications deep you are in right now, and tell me what you're building, or tell me if you're stuck and don't know what to build. Whatever it is, say it, because I promise you, someone else is in the comment section going through the exact same thing and just needs to know that they're not alone. So please, if you're new to the channel, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you on the next one.